Peace. I'm Kayla L with Tribal Roots Energy, TribalRootsEnergy.com. You can find me at Tribal Roots Energy on all of my socials. And I just wanted to talk today about you don't need more information. What you need is more application. And what I'm talking about is when it comes to living a rich spiritual life. Um, you've probably consumed tons of information, tons of knowledge. You've turned that knowledge to wisdom, but and you might feel like, okay, like what's next? But really what it is just it's time to apply. And I was just kind of thinking like somebody might wonder what is the point of it all? And the point is of a rich spiritual lifestyle is to incorporate that area of your life and um, have that be healthy like the other areas of your life. So you might be focused on like your physical well-being, your finances, your relationship, your love, your relationship with your children, how you parent. But it's like you can't ignore the spiritual aspect of your life. So a lot of times when something's missing or if you feel stuck, that's what it is. And the point of it all is to be in alignment. And when we're in alignment, we are more likely to manifest the things that we really want, like the finer things in life: joy, love, happiness, peace, abundance, safety, rest, you know, provision, all of that good stuff. So, when we're out here just like all willy nilly and we're just at the mercy of the frequencies that are coming at us, the different messages that are coming at us from the media, from other people's programming, those types of things. You're susceptible to what's in the frequency of that, and when you're not intentional about it, you don't know. You don't know what you're getting. So yes, that's the point of having a spiritual lifestyle. And there are, once you get into it, you feel better. You get to um, tend to your emotions. You get to work on your emotions. You're working on your internal world, the things that's in your head. And then in turn, you're affecting your physical world, your health, your finances, your family. You're affecting your emotional body, you're affecting your mental and your spiritual. um, so there are some things that you can start to apply that you've probably looked into already. And one of those is your astrological chart. um, a lot a lot of living a spiritual lifestyle is being in alignment with your purpose and your mission. So, one way to find your purpose and your mission is through your astrological chart. And it goes beyond your horoscope of like your sun sign, born in July, I'm a Cancer, my sun sign, but it goes beyond that. There's 12 pieces to the pie and many aspects that make us all very unique in our chart. So, as a beginner, you can look into um, your 10th house if you want to know about your career and purpose. You can look into your North Node about purpose. Um, you can look into your Midhaven that deals with like your career. Um, your first house will, tell you more about yourself and um, the things that, might light you up. But I really recommend getting with a professional astrologer to look at your chart and you can ask those questions about purpose, um, because it's very layered and it's very dynamic and it's fun. So to look into these things, look into yourself, get to know yourself. That's another part of the reason why we're all here on earth, experiencing this life that the Creator gave us. So, those are one of the maps that you can use to look further into yourself. Um, Another one is meditation. So, you want to, well, I recommend getting into meditation the first thing in the morning. And when you're doing that, you want to quiet your mind, have a neutral mind, and just allow your thoughts to pass. And then if you have a question, you can acknowledge that you are here with yourself in the presence of your higher self, in the presence of the divine source creator, and you can ask your question and you can tell your higher self and the most high that you have this question stated out loud if you want, and see what you get. And then you will learn to start to trust the answers that you hear. So I remember growing up, I used to hear people say like they were talking to God, and I always wondered like, what does God sound like? But the more I learn, God sounds like me. So um it's important to trust yourself, trust your soul, and trust the spiritual realm when you get these messages. Um, so yeah, so that's something you want to practice meditation daily. Um, and you can start with setting up like a sacred space somewhere private, in your home or like in your garden or something like that, and dedicate that time to yourself to visit that space daily. And then that's where that'll become your spiritual workspace. And as your spiritual life becomes more rich, that's where you'll do some more of your spiritual work. You can work with, so you might have heard about people working with angels. People talk a lot about Archangel Michael, Michael, or you might heard of other angels. Or if you were brought up like in a Christian background, you've heard about angels, and that is another form of spirituality and magic that is very real that you can get results from, and whatever you have learned from that, you can start to apply it. And there may be like some fear that comes up when we're like with me using the word spirituality or like even magic or rituals. Um, and if fear does come up, that is being influenced by lower vibratory um, energies. What, yes, lower vibratory energies, and also it's a bring it into your awareness that you want to intentionally set up uh, your spiritual protection, because on earth, yes, we have two sides. There's the duality, there is positive and there's the negative polarity. So like I was saying, with like the frequency, you want to be intentional about setting your frequency and knowing what you're drawing to you, magnetizing to you. um so intention is an important part of being in alignment. And then that also goes back to mission and purpose and stuff like that. So that's another thing you can do on a daily basis in your spiritual work space is set up your protection. I set up my protection for myself, and then I set it up for my child and my family, in our cars and our homes and things like that. Um, there are other forms of magic that you can um, that you may have learned about. but it's important to, apply these things. And then when you're ready to apply, you want to have a purpose, you want to have an intention. So why? For me, it's to have a rich spiritual lifestyle, and it's just something that I've come to enjoy, and it helps me be focused on my greater life mission, and it helps me stay in alignment with that, so that the actions that I'm taking in the real world, well, the physical world, are helping me get closer to my mission on earth, which is a part of um, being strong spiritually. And spirituality is knowing that you have a purpose here on earth, knowing that you are placed here by the Creator, and we have this opportunity to live our life. This is a gift. Being in this body is a gift, and it's an experience that we chose to come here and learn and experience, enjoy, and feel emotions and things like that. Those are privileges that we have in a human body that other energies don't have. Um, so, other forms of magic that you can apply are prayer. You want to get into your prayer every day in your spiritual workspace. There's Bible magic that you can use, that you can look into. Maybe I'll talk more about it another day. Um, and um, One thing that I do want to mention is the fourfold body. So earlier I was saying your emotional, your mental, your physical, and your spiritual. So those are all four components that make your whole self. And we want to be fortifying each of those bodies on a daily basis. And um, it's it might sound like a lot, but it's not really when you have an intention. So yes, that's my piece for today, is to begin applying some of these things that you've learned. Let me know, in the comments, like if you have any questions about maybe like types of magic that you heard about that you want to explore further. Maybe certain rituals, maybe you create your own rituals, maybe you've read about some things that you want to explore. Maybe you want to know about more about spiritual protection, auric field protection, tools, crystals, all those types of things. Let me know in the comments, and I can answer some questions. Um, yeah, so I just want to encourage you to start applying, start with your daily practice, and see where it takes you. Um, all right, peace and much love.